Tonight on CTV News at 6, cross-Canada cooperation. Danielle Smith makes a deal with Ontario.
We've got to start acting like a country. We've got to start supporting each other.
The culinary delights of this year's K-Days.
The dill pickle donuts sound delightful. Also, ice cream nachos.
Part of the push to get Edmontonians through the Midway gates. And a gingerbread legislature.
We're pretty happy with how it looks. I mean, like I say, we're not professional bakers or anything.
Some short-lived heat as temperatures reach 30 degrees tomorrow and then get back to average by Wednesday.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. The premiers of Alberta and Ontario say the two provinces will work together to connect Canada's economy. Danielle Smith and Doug Ford met today at the Calgary Stampede, announcing two different agreements. CTV's Evan Kenny joins us now in studio. And Evan, what can you tell us about these new deals?
Jeff, Premiers Danielle Smith and Doug Ford signed two memorandums of understanding. One is a commitment from Alberta to use made-in-Canada cars for its government fleet and reduce barriers for the interprovincial trade of liquor. The other agreement focuses on building trade corridors with oil and gas pipelines and railways. The goal is to have a new pipeline and enhance infrastructure in James Bay near the Ontario-Quebec border and in southern Ontario. The two provinces also plan to work together on nuclear energy production. The premiers say they are trying to make Canada's economy more resilient in the face of U.S. tariffs.
And the world changed in November. And I think Canadians understand that we've got to start acting like a country. We've got to start supporting each other. And I think that is the prevailing sentiment in the country.
I love the U.S. I love the American people. But there's one person that's causing a problem right now, and that's President Trump. We want to move forward. We want to build the AMCAN fortress. But the days of relying on the United States 100%, they're done. They're gone. We're going to start being reliant and self-reliant on each other.
This builds on an MOU Alberta and Ontario signed last month. The two will launch a joint feasibility study later this year. The provincial NDP are skeptical of the agreements. The party says if the UCP government was serious about breaking down trade barriers, they'd start by addressing trucking rules, building codes, labor standards, and accreditation. That's the kind of meaningful action Albertans have been asking for. Jeff?
All right, Evan, thank you. It's Evan Kenny live for us. Two independent MLAs say work has started to relaunch the Progressive Conservative Party of Alberta. Independent MLAs Peter Guthrie and Scott Sinclair say they need to collect 8,900 signatures in order to register the party with Elections Alberta. They hope to do that by November 27th. The PC party long dominated provincial politics in Alberta. It dissolved in 2017 when it merged with the Wildrose Party to form the UCP. They say this party will be for the people who no longer support the UCP.
Albertans will reject the UCP, at least in my opinion, for the same reason that they voted for change back in 2015. That's to get rid of that misconduct and entitlement. Albertans, they need a trusted, legitimate, conservative option on the ballot in that next election.
Guthrie and Sinclair say they will not solicit support from other UCP MLAs, saying they'll need to decide for themselves what's right. A 5-year-old boy has died after falling several stories from a downtown high-rise. Now Edmonton's Ethiopian community is coming together to help the family. CTV's Nerman Issa reports.
An Edmonton family is mourning the death of a 5-year-old boy. It happened last Wednesday at a high-rise just off of Jasper Avenue and 121st Street. Edmonton police say that the boy fell off of the roof. A tenant is telling us that it was a balcony. Now, we just spoke with the father this afternoon. He is asking for privacy for his family. He says that he is trying to stay strong for his wife and his other children. Now, they are getting a lot of support from family, friends, strangers. Now, over the next 3 days, there are going to be people who can offer their condolences at the Ethiopian Community Center. A tenant tells CTV News the boy's family lived on the 21st floor. She says the boy's father approached her on the main floor asking if she saw his son. She says a few minutes later, first responders showed up.
We were there for a while, you know, just kind of talking about things, and that's when we found out that he fallen from the balcony, and two residents at least saw him fall. They told us eventually, we had to go to our units to give them a chance to grieve.
The property management company Hazelview Properties declined CTV's interview request. Now, it did issue a statement saying in part, "At this stage, we have no indication to believe that the incident was caused by any structural issue or defect with the building," adding, "All balconies at the property meet the safety requirements set out in the building code." Hazelview Properties says that it is offering free counseling services to its tenants. It is also working with Edmonton Police as they investigate the circumstances surrounding this fall. Now, Edmonton Police are not releasing further details at this moment. Naramnisa, CTV News, Edmonton.
27 more Albertans have confirmed cases of the measles. That brings the provincial total to more than 1,200. 2 of those new cases are in Edmonton. The majority of new cases are in the North Zone. Health officials continue to encourage Albertans to ensure they've received 2 doses of the MMR vaccine. Albertans who aren't fully vaccinated are advised to be extra careful if they're headed to the Stampede in Calgary. The highly contagious virus can linger in the air for a couple of hours after an infected person has left the area. Alberta is joining the federal Canada Strong Pass by offering free or reduced admission to some provincial attractions. The Royal Alberta Museum is one of 13 museums and historic sites offering free admission for anyone 17 and under until September 2nd. Entry is half price for ages 18 to 24. The Canada Strong Pass is offering free or reduced admission to national parks and historic sites this summer. Some of the other Alberta attractions offering free admission include the Royal Tyrrell Museum in Drumheller and the Reynolds Museum in Wetaskiwin. Free tickets to K-Days are up for grabs, and all you have to do to get some is support a local business. It's the 2nd year for the program. Festival organizers say is a win-win for the community. CTV's Amanda Anderson explains.
The expo grounds are starting to take shape for this year's K-Days. It kicks off in less than 2 weeks. And in the meantime, there's a way to get an early taste of the festival.
This is our Midway mix-up.
Yellowed ice cream came up with a flavor that combines several festival favorites.
We bounced flavors back and forth for a little while, and then this was the funnest one that we could think of for this season. Cotton candy, Oreos, and our blue raspberry.
I don't like Oreos, so this will be a test. That's actually pretty good. It works.
Further down White Avenue, you'll find the Klondike Pack at Flirt Cupcakes.
This is our cotton candy here with the confetti. This is our caramel apple, if you can tell. This is our gold rush ones, where it has just like little gold candies, and those are inside the cake as well. And then, of course, our mini donut.
So we've partnered with about 24 local businesses.
People who buy from participating businesses will get free tickets to K-Days. Zia Karmali with Explore Edmonton says more than 16,000 free tickets were given out last year, generating almost 8,000 additional visitors to K-Days.
So far, we've given out over 38,000 tickets to K-Days, which is great. Being able to support these businesses in that way is phenomenal. Last year, we saw $125,000 worth of direct sales coming in to support these local businesses.
She says the benefit for K-Days is attracting more people to the festival, while for businesses, it means exposure.
We've given over 1,200 tickets away. I think it's great for both of us. I think it's exposing us to an audience that otherwise may not even know that we're here. We're just a very small business.
And we're so thankful for K-Days. They just gave us all this for free. It's all all the money goes to us. There's just small business. It helps so much.
The program runs until July 27th. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
And K-Days is the place to be this summer for people who love dill pickles. The fair is once again serving up an assortment of adventurous and unexpected foods to try. More than 35 new food items will be served across the Edmonton Expo Center grounds. That includes ramen burritos, peanut butter and jam, chicken waffle cones, cowboy candy, mango soft serve, and plenty of pickle-flavored items.
The dill pickle donuts sound delightful. Also, ice cream nachos. I mean, who doesn't love nachos and who doesn't love ice cream? And on a hot summer day, that might be something really cool to check out.
Visitors can vote on their favorite new foods in a number of categories, including sweet, savory, and people's choice. You know, Josh, I was at the Elks game last night, and I ate way too many mini donuts, but I'm going to try those. Hopefully I'll be prepared for them.
You're going for the dill pickle donuts?
I'm going to try it.
All right.
You're not? No? Okay.
We'll see.
I'll tell you how they are.
Take a look at current temperatures around the Edmonton region. It was a nice warm day today. Got into the mid-20s. It will be considerably hotter tomorrow, up to 30 for a daytime high. We get 23 to 25 around the region with wind, not bad, about 10 to 15 kilometers per hour and partly cloudy skies. 23 is the average high, so 2 degrees above average this afternoon. After starting the day, 2 degrees below average. It'll be a lot warmer tomorrow. We'll be in the mid-teens for a morning low tomorrow. Here's what it looks like outside right now. After a sunny start to the day, we had some clouds this afternoon, and now, as you can see through the lens of the CTV drone, those clouds are starting to break up a little bit once again. All of a sudden, I want to golf. Wow, that looks good. Showers and thunderstorms off in northeastern Alberta. You get some showers as well into western parts of the province. It looks like all of those showers there south of Grand Prairie, south of the Hinton region will fall apart before they hit the Edmonton area. So you've got that big break in the cloud cover from Edmonton all the way off towards Drayton Valley and Edson. And I think not only through this evening, but even overnight tonight, it's going to be more clear sky than cloud cover. Could see a few clouds move through early tomorrow morning, though. So partly cloudy, about 16 degrees to start, and then 30 with some sunshine tomorrow afternoon and just a slight risk of an evening thunderstorm. A little better chance for some showers Wednesday morning. Talk more about that in just a few minutes.
All right. Thank you, Josh. Stay with us. Coming up, keeping a close watch on deadly flooding back home.
You know, it gives you a different purpose and sense of...
Competitors at the Calgary Stampede say they're riding for rodeo families affected by the disaster.
It's unsafe to send crews and heavy equipment and that kind of thing in to build the containment lines.
And Alberta Wildfire getting ahead of any possible new fires heading into a heat wave.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Dozens of athletes from Texas are here in Alberta this week competing in the Stampede Rodeo. With deadly flooding continuing across their state, they're keeping a close eye on what's going on back home. CTV's Glenn Campbell reports.
Ty Harris is on fuego! Ty Harris got off to a great start in tie-down roping. He had the best time of the day. As nice as it was to win, Harris couldn't help but think of what's going on back home in Texas. He's from San Angelo, which wasn't the hardest hit, but has some flooding.
I'm obviously really thankful that my family is safe, you know, from everything, but that hits home. There's rodeo families that have been affected by it and different people in Texas that have been affected by it.
Harris earned $7,000 for his work on Monday, and he'd like to do something to help the victims.
You know, I always tithe 10% of what I win, whether it's 10% of what I win to I don't know if there's going to be a foundation or a GoFundMe or a I really don't know what's going on yet, but it was on my mind coming up here.
Ty's brother Joel is also competing in tie-down roping. He says there's been some damage in San Angelo, but not nearly as badly hit as some other areas. He says it's been tough watching what's going on back home.
It just affects you emotionally, and you realize that it's not, you know, this isn't the most important thing, coming out here and competing. As important as we do make it, as fun as it is, it really puts into perspective that people are going through a really hard time, and we have friends that have had flooding in their house, and you know, I know that a lot of lives have been lost.
63 athletes from Texas are competing in this year's Stampede Rodeo. It's a close-knit community, and they're always there to support each other and people in the affected area. Breakaway roper Jordan Joe Hollabaugh lives in Fort Worth, Texas.
Rodeo is one of the few sports that it doesn't matter if you're blood or not. When something goes on in the rodeo family, we're all hands on deck trying to help and be supportive and where we can.
Glenn Campbell, CTV Sports, Calgary.
We'll have more details on the situation in Texas and the search for survivors later this hour. One person is dead following a helicopter crash in central Alberta. RCMP were called to a private landing strip near Range Road 40 in Lacombe County Sunday afternoon. A 54-year-old woman from the hamlet of Benalto died. The 63-year-old pilot from Lacombe County was airlifted to hospital in life-threatening condition. The Transportation Safety Board is now investigating. The RCMP Major Crime Unit has been called in to investigate after the body of a 16-year-old girl was found in an abandoned vehicle in southern Alberta. The teen was discovered Friday about a kilometre west of the village of Glenwood. The girl's body has been transported to the office of the Chief Medical Examiner for an autopsy. Police have not released her identity. Anyone with information about the death is asked to call Cardston RCMP or Crime Stoppers. Blue-green algae has been found at a large lake northwest of Edmonton. The bacteria has been found in Lac St. Anne. Alberta Health Services says people should stay away from blooms and rinse off immediately if they come into contact with it. HS says boiling the water will not make it safe to drink. Blooms look like fuzz or globs on the surface, and they can be a variety of colors, not just blue and green. Alberta Wildfire says while the fire danger is currently low across most of the province, we are not out of the woods yet. Hot weather over the next day or so could make it easier for new fires to start or those still burning to flare up. The majority of the 44 active wildfires in Alberta are under control or being held. Only 13 are considered out of control. Fire crews are taking advantage of the conditions to contain those fires before the weather really heats up.
We never put firefighters in the path of a extremely active wildfire. It's just not safe. But when the activity gets down to a level where it's smoldering along the edges of a fire, it's then safe to send crews and heavy equipment and that kind of thing in to build the containment lines.
As always, Alberta Wildfire is also keeping a close eye on the potential lightning activity across the province. Still ahead in sickness and in sweetness.
I think for us it did. I think it did bring us together.
Yeah.
A local couple fosters closeness in a delicate and difficult replica made out of gingerbread.
Both of us inspired each other in doing a project because he's good at what I am not.
Hot and sunny tomorrow, and then a cool down for Wednesday, Thursday, with the chance of some showers Wednesday morning. Full look at your 5 10-day forecast right after the break.
Programming brought to you by Federated Co-ops. Find your summer sweepstakes. Unlock your chances to win at your local co-op.
A couple in Edmonton have just finished building a one-of-a-kind miniature model with several difficult yet delicious details. CTV's Connor Hogg explains.
We need some popcorn, don't we? Matt Intihar and Sheila Guevara are spending some quality time relaxing together. The couple often spends their time in a more unique way by making gingerbread houses.
Both of us inspired each other in doing a project because he's good at what I am not.
The pair was in a local bake shop when they saw a gingerbread castle built by the baker.
We thought, geez, that would be pretty neat if we could build something like that. I don't know if we're up to it, but we could give it a try.
Their first house was simple, so they decided to go bigger. At first, they planned to build a replica of the White House. They ultimately selected the Alberta legislature as their subject. Close to home and easier to research in person.
As time went on, we thought, hey, we can do this or we could add that on, and so slowly it became a bit more detailed as time went on.
Intihar and Guevara worked on their ginger ledge together and separately when their shift work schedules didn't allow for time together.
He come home, I'm sleeping, or I come home, he's sleeping. But I see, when I come home, I see something that he did. I'm like, oh, cool, I can do this.
After 6 months of gingerbread and marzipan, plus painstaking research, baking, sculpting, and resculpting, this is the result.
We managed to finish it, and we're pretty happy with how it looks. I mean, like I say, we're not professional bakers or anything.
I could have not done it by myself.
The happy couple are in the process of finding a place to display their work and also sharing what they learned about each other in the process.
He sits right there and he's just doing this little thing and little thing. It's kind of, looking at him, it's very heartwarming, and he's very graceful doing that, and it makes me push myself harder too.
I guess this kind of thing could pull people apart. Maybe they'd get fed up with each other, but I think for us it did. I think it did bring us together.
Yeah.
Two people who have found extra sweetness in their lives together. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
Our beautiful day today, Josh, and heating up quite a bit.
For one day.
For one day.
With the exception of southeastern Alberta, where it will stay a little hotter a little bit longer. There's a view from the Action Furnace River Valley Skycam. Action Furnace, fixed right or it's free, partly cloudy skies, and 25 degrees, which is the daytime high for today. 24 in Fort McMurray for the high, 25s in Grand Prairie and Jasper. Lloydminster a little cooler at 22. There's your heat warning for areas east of Calgary, down to the southeast corner of the province, as you'll get a hot one tomorrow and another one Wednesday. I think the heat, even in the southeast, should start to break on Thursday. Thunderstorms rolled through Fort McMurray area earlier in the day. You can see they're now off into northwestern Saskatchewan. You've got some broken showers here south of Grand Prairie, and a bit of scattered shower activity here off to the southeast of Hinton and even just north of Highway 16. There's your clear skies from Edmonton off to the west, and I think this will all break down before it hits the Edmonton region. So maybe a few clouds tomorrow morning, but not expecting any showers overnight tonight. See that twist right there? There's your upper level low, and that's the driving feature behind the forecast for the next couple of days. You get some heat pumped in out ahead of this for tomorrow, but watch how quickly this tracks across northern Alberta through the day Wednesday and is way off to the northeast by Thursday. So behind this, we'll see some cooler air slide back in. Not cold, but back into the low 20s for daytime highs. You had showers in through northeastern Alberta earlier in the day today. Those, as we showed you, have all now moved off into northeastern Alberta. A couple scattered showers as well breaking down in through the west. Here in Edmonton, there's your cloud cover tomorrow morning. So no more than just partly cloudy skies to start today. Further off to the northwest, you'll see some hit and miss showers in the morning. We get some sunshine for the bulk of the day tomorrow here in Edmonton to go along with the heat. Watch this cloud cover building up, though, right along the jet stream. There's your upper level low off to the northwest. And so you've got that feed of moisture coming in and heat. And that will likely set off some showers and thunderstorms across parts of northern Alberta tomorrow evening. Now, I've put a slight risk of a thunderstorm in the forecast for tomorrow evening in Edmonton. It really looks like all of this will be north of us, but there's at least a chance that tomorrow night we get an isolated shower or thunderstorm. And the same goes for Wednesday morning. Most of the showers will develop off to the southeast of Edmonton through the afternoon hours, but we'll get some cloudy skies through the morning, and I think there's at least a chance of seeing a few hit and miss showers and then some sunny breaks later in the day. 24, 25 degree temperatures in Fort McMurray, Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Jasper, and Red Deer. 22s and 23s for Lloydminster, Cold Lake, and Peace River, and for most areas, wind fairly light, and it will stay light overnight tonight and through the day tomorrow. So not even much of a breeze to help cool things off tomorrow. 16 in the morning, 26 by lunchtime, and a high of 30. If we get to 30.0 tomorrow, that would be our 5th 30-degree day of the year. Average for the entire year is 4. 23 on Wednesday with that chance of showers, especially early in the day. Again, it's only about a 30% chance. 21 Thursday, we heat back up, back into the mid to upper 20s Friday, Saturday, and then cool off to highs near 20 once again Sunday, Monday. So if you like the heat and the 30-something temperatures, you got one day tomorrow, and then we're back closer to average.
Thank you, Josh. A Toronto team captured top spot at the annual Brick Invitational Hockey Tournament. Toronto Pro Hockey defeated the BC Junior Canucks 2-1 in overtime at the Ice Palace in West Edmonton Mall. The tournament hosts the best 8, 9, and 10-year-old hockey players representing teams from across North America.
These 8, 9, and 10-year-olds are quite amazing. They're doing everything they do out there because of the love of hockey. They want to get better. They give every shift they have. The people can see they are trying so hard.
Earlier in the day, the best players from the eliminated teams took part in a Canada versus U.S. game. Team Canada won 16-6. Stay with us. Coming up, the search for survivors after deadly flooding in Texas.
We didn't even have a warning. We did not know.
Why critics say the warning system and emergency response have been too slow. Also next.
She's scared too much. She's scared.
A Canadian mother shares her fears of what may happen to her daughter detained by ICE.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile. Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
An urgent search is underway for survivors in Texas after deadly flash flooding killed dozens of people, among them children and their counselors at a Christian summer camp. The water levels rose quickly when 4 months of rain fell in hours, and with more on the way. As CTV's Adrian Gobriel reports, critics say Washington was slow to respond to the emergency.
As the search for survivors intensifies, the full scale of this deadly disaster is coming into focus. This footage shares a glimpse of just some of the 850 life and death high water rescues that took place. Hundreds of state and federal first responders and more than a dozen K-9 units are on the ground, including volunteers on foot and horseback.
If it was my babies, I'd want somebody looking, so that's why I'm here.
Dozens of children have been confirmed dead, with another 10 campers and 1 counselor, as of this morning, still missing from Camp Mystic, a Christian girls' camp.
I've lost near friends, best friends, my boss, my godchildren, my house, my car.
The camp, perched along the Guadalupe River, saw floodwaters rise 8 meters in just 45 minutes. 2 hours north in Kingsland, Texas, this time lapse shows just how quickly floodwaters rose.
You know that your child is going to be swimming and canoes and horseback riding and doing archery and making lifetime friends. And then suddenly it turns to tragedy.
With the National Weather Service saying their flood warnings were timely and accurate, questions about weather alerts reached those most at risk remain, with the mayor of Kerrville, Texas, admitting he never received one.
Everyone here, if we could have warned them, we would have done so. And we didn't even have a warning. We did not know.
The city manager of Kerrville asked today why an evacuation order wasn't issued.
It's very tough to make those calls because what we also don't want to do is cry wolf.
An answer that will bring little comfort to those who've lost so much.
With the U.S. president signing a major disaster declaration for Carroll County, Texas, Federal Emergency Management Agency resources have been deployed as ongoing discussions to close down FEMA are still taking place, according to a White House spokesperson today. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Washington.
The U.S. Department of Justice says there's no evidence accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein kept any sort of client list or that he was murdered.
An exhaustive review of all of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and his death, and they put out a memo in conclusion of that review. They committed to an exhaustive investigation. That's what they did, and they provided the results of that.
The DOJ also says it's not planning to release any new documents related to the matter. For years, right-wing media figures have suggested the government is hiding secrets related to Epstein. During a feud with the president, billionaire Elon Musk accused Trump of appearing in these supposed files. The department has also released hours of jailhouse security footage showing no one entered Epstein's jail cell on the day he died. A ceasefire deal to end the war between Israel and Hamas is on the table. U.S. President Donald Trump is having a private dinner with his Israeli counterpart in Washington today to discuss it.
I think there's a good chance we have a deal with Hamas during the week.
Trump says Israel has agreed to a 60-day ceasefire in Gaza and has warned Hamas to accept it. While Hamas has expressed support for the framework of the deal, it says there are amendments it wants before accepting. Under the current proposal, Hamas would release 10 living hostages in 2 phases, with Israel releasing Palestinian prisoners. Israeli and Hamas officials met in Qatar today for indirect talks. Israel's prime minister says his delegation has instructions to achieve a ceasefire deal under the conditions Israel has accepted. Meanwhile, the feud between Elon Musk and Donald Trump is heating back up, with Musk saying he plans to create a new political party in the U.S.
Fusion. It really seems to have been developed for 2 parties. Third parties have never worked. So he can have fun with it, but I think it's ridiculous.
In a post on his social media site X, Musk wrote, "MAGA is in the past. Woke is a distraction. The middle is the future. America's party is the party of the middle majority." Meanwhile, Tesla's stock took a significant hit today, with investors expressing skepticism about Musk's political aspirations. Under President Trump's immigration crackdown, dozens of Canadian citizens have been detained by the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, also known as ICE. One has died in custody, leaving the families of others worried about their loved ones. CTV's Heather Wright spoke to relatives of one woman who's detained.
Maria Estela Cano was there the night her daughter was arrested in Florida back in April and has been fighting to get her out ever since.
That is really horrible for her. Horrible. You say they punish people for nothing.
Cano says her daughter, Paula Callejas, was arrested after getting into a fight with her boyfriend, who she scratched after he shoved her to the ground. The Canadian designer was living in Florida, where she was building her swimwear business and waiting for her visa application to be processed. After she was arrested, she was handed over to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, known as ICE. Callejas' mother says her daughter has been moved to multiple detention centers, sometimes crammed 6 people to a cell. She says her daughter's anxiety medication has been taken away, and she worries about her well-being.
She's scared too much. She's scared. And she's saying, Mommy, I'm asking, but please let me go, let me go. Like, why keep her there?
Global Affairs Canada says at least 50 Canadians are currently in ICE custody, though that number fluctuates. At least one Canadian, Jasmine Mooney, has been released. She was held for nearly 2 weeks in March after trying to get her work visa renewed. Last month, Canadian Johnny Noviello died while in ICE custody. His death is under investigation.
And the family says it was the death of Noviello that prompted them to speak out. And while they are able to speak with their daughter multiple times a week, they worry that her mental health is suffering and that she might not make it home alive. Heather Wright, CTV News, Mississauga, Ontario.
The Liberal government revealed hundreds of millions of dollars in military spending today.
It's time for us to invest on the front lines of our Canadian Armed Forces, in the women and men, the brave women and men who serve in our forces, including salaries and benefits. That's exactly what we're doing, and that's one of the reasons why we're here making this important $850 million announcement.
A new infrastructure project at CFB Trenton in Ontario will include new hangars, runways, fuel depots, and training facilities. The Defence Minister says the project will create 1,000 jobs. The government has pledged increased investments in Canada's military as part of its goal to meet NATO spending targets. 6 countries are pulling out of a Canada-led treaty that banned landmines. The agreement is dubbed the Ottawa Treaty, as Canada played an integral role in its creation nearly 30 years ago. Ukraine, Finland, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania have all announced their intent to withdraw from the treaty this year. All of the nations share borders with Russia. Russian use of landmines in Ukraine has become widespread. The wildfire situation in Manitoba is intensifying, with 7 local states of emergency and 6 communities evacuated.
There are 81 active fires burning in Manitoba today. We've had 235 fires to date. The 20-year average for this date is 187. Most of the province has a high fire danger level. We are following 16 fires that are near communities or have the potential to impact communities.
The most recent evacuation order is for the town of Leafs Rapids in northern Manitoba. In all, wildfires have forced more than 6,000 Manitobans from their homes. Some flights have resumed in Kelowna, BC, after a wildfire that prompted evacuations stopped spreading. The Wayland Creek fire had come dangerously close to some homes. Meanwhile, in Lytton, a wildfire has grown to more than 2 square kilometers. It was ignited when an RCMP vehicle lost a wheel and sparked a quickly spreading fire. After missing the final games of the playoffs, Oilers forward Zach Hyman is getting back into the swing of things. The Toronto native is back in the GTA for his annual charity golf tournament. The event is in its 6th year. It's seeing participants mix with athletes and celebrities while raising money for charity.
It's extremely important. It's extremely important for me and my family. It's very much a family event. And it's incredible to see the amount of volunteers, 6 years, and they keep coming back, and they really make this event happen, and especially all the people who donate and who are playing in the tournament. We have to thank them as well. And yeah, it's been an incredible 6 years, and excited to be back.
The tournament has raised nearly $3 million for a number of different organizations, including Sick Kids Hospital. The chase was on in Spain today with the annual Running of the Bulls. Thousands of participants attempted to dodge the animals in the streets of Pamplona. Runners decked out in traditional red and white attire ran ahead of the Bulls on the cobblestone streets. The run lasted just 2 minutes, 37 seconds, with emergency services taking 6 people to hospital with injuries. And up next, a warning from Canadian doctors.
There are noted vaccine skeptics among this group.
Experts say health misinformation could be coming from high levels of the U.S. government. Also next.
The secret sauce of TikTok is its algorithm.
The clock is ticking for TikTok as the app makes changes to stay legal in both Canada and the U.S. And there's a live shot from Edmonton's River Valley. That is the Queen Elizabeth Pool. It's been a beautiful day, and if you like the heat, tomorrow will be much better. Stay with us. Looking at today's markets, the Canadian dollar traded slightly lower at 73 cents to the American dollar. Oil was up nearly $1, ending today at $67.93 U.S. a barrel. Gold closed 10 cents lower. The TSX was down 15 points. The Dow Jones lost 422 points on the day. TikTok is pulling sponsorships for several Canadian art institutions as it prepares to wind down operations in Canada. TikTok says it's pulling out as a sponsor of the Juno Awards and the Toronto International Film Festival as it prepares to comply with a federal order to shut down. The company is still challenging the order in court. Meantime, in the U.S., TikTok is reportedly working on a new version of its app ahead of a major sale to a group of American investors. The change would potentially sever the app's connection to China by using a different algorithm.
The secret sauce of TikTok is its algorithm, and that really has been at the core of this controversy over these apparent national security concerns that lie at the root of why this law exists in the first place.
Last month, U.S. President Donald Trump extended the deadline for a third time for TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, to sell its U.S. assets. The Canadian Medical Journal is warning about the rise of health misinformation, particularly from the U.S. With recent jumps in measles, syphilis, and HIV cases in Canada, experts say accurate, reliable health information is urgently needed. CTV's Pauline Chan reports.
Check them, sir.
I did not fact check.
You did not fact check. So
this is the week U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is announcing the members of the vaccine panel at the Centers for Disease Control, something the Canadian Medical Association is watching carefully.
There are noted vaccine skeptics among this group who have echoed RFK Jr.'s ideas such as vitamins will prevent measles, such as that, chemical warfare or various other causes are responsible for the current measles outbreak. Instead of the virus.
Dr. Shannon Charlebois says Kennedy and members of the panel will determine which vaccines will be funded in the U.S. The Canadian Medical Association says while medical misinformation has been around since the start of social media, the new U.S. administration is causing alarm for some Canadian health experts.
They've defunded the CDC by 40%, and that's quite significant. And what's more significant is where they have cut that funding from.
She points to things like sexual health clinics and the rise in cases of syphilis and HIV.
Not only do infectious diseases not respect geopolitical borders, but neither does mass media.
The article by the Canadian Medical Association says Canada cannot rely on its southern neighbour to monitor infectious diseases, and Charlebois says it's not just measles and syphilis.
Now we have avian flu, which is spread throughout the country in our domestic poultry. It's also crossed to cow herds in the U.S.
It has infected some humans working with the animals, but the fear is that if it mutates to spread from human to human, the effects will be devastating. The CMA is calling for a national vaccine registry as a first step to strengthening our own system and interoperable health records to allow for secure but easier access to health records between hospitals and between provinces.
And there is nothing sadder than a child dying of a completely preventable disease.
And on an individual level, Charlebois says, do question your doctor about anything you're unsure about. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Scarlett Johansson is now the highest-grossing lead actor in Hollywood, thanks to the success of Jurassic World Rebirth. Films starring Johansson have now earned more than $14.8 billion at the box office. More than $8 billion of that total comes from her role as Black Widow in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Johansson passed her Marvel co-stars Robert Downey Jr. and Samuel L. Jackson to take top spot on the earning list. Rachel McAdams will soon have her name cemented on Hollywood Boulevard.
Okay, fine. I'll go out with you.
Well, don't do me any favors.
No, I want to.
Say it again.
I want to go out with you.
The Canadian actress, known for her roles in The Notebook and Mean Girls, is one of the 35 inductees into the Hollywood Walk of Fame. No date has been set for an induction ceremony. Still ahead, blocked by a bush.
It's a bit of a challenge, safety-wise.
How a problem tree became an opportunity for positive pruning.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV, starting at 7 with E-Talk. Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Photos of animals, mountains, and glaciers are featured in the portfolios being considered for International Aerial Photographer of the Year. Photos like this one of a spinner shark hunting a school of fish were featured in the winning portfolio. They were taken by Joanna Steidel from New York. Organizers received over 1,500 entries from around the world. Photographers took the shots from above, often using drones or from planes or helicopters. This was the first year of the competition, intended to highlight the unique perspective of aerial photography. A Canadian couple is proving that obstacles can become opportunities. CTV's Adam Sawatsky has more on how a problem tree ended up delighting a neighborhood with some thoughtful pruning.
Every time she backed up her car,
The head on the swivel really a lot.
Tracy Ferreria's view of the oncoming traffic was blocked by that bush.
It was a bit of a challenge, safety-wise.
But Tracy didn't want to cut it down. So her husband John wondered if the best workaround was to cut through it.
And so I made a couple of holes.
Which proved to be a whole lot of help for Tracy.
That's brilliant. This is so much easier to get out of the driveway.
Until a friend mentioned the hole looked like a mouth.
You got to make a face. So I made a face, let the hair grow on it.
He even named it. But despite John's best efforts, the dude seemed to be somewhat dour.
I said, you got to do one on the other side that's happy.
So John made the other side smile, which not only inspired passing people to share appreciative comments, but leave presents too.
Then left a beer there for me to say thank you. For Christmas, someone left a card and say thank you.
Because every season, Tracy and John find some way to make the dude even more dynamic.
For Halloween, I have a mannequin that I stuff in its mouth there.
While the grumpy side can get ghoulish, the smiling side is happy to hop at Easter or ho 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 come Christmas.
I sewed a really big Santa hat to put on it.
But when it comes to celebrating our country, there's a consensus that both sides fly flags attached to hockey sticks.
In today's world, I think we need to do happy stuff.
Which is why John has expanded his positive pruning to include a second bush he calls the little dudes, who Tracy calls the kids, because like real children, they also can't get enough of Christmas.
A little bit of effort can bring a whole lot of joy. So why not take the time?
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Saanich.
I'd love to do that with one of those spruce trees in my yard. Think it would work?
I would love to as well. I know how well it would go over with my wife, though. Let's see how that flies.
Yeah, report back.
Take a look at the radar map. You can see there are some showers now stretching into the Edson region. It looks like maybe even Whitecourt gets a little shower here in the next little bit. Those clouds are a long ways off to the west of Edmonton. The precipitation will break down before it hits the city. So, should be dry tonight. Just a few clouds through the overnight period. There will be some clouds tomorrow morning, especially early in the morning, but most of tomorrow you're looking at sunshine. 16 degrees in the morning, 30 in the afternoon, and just a slight risk of a thunderstorm in the evening. I think most of that stays north of us, though.
All right, sounds great. Thanks, Josh, and thank you very much for sharing your time with us. For news anytime, visit ctvnewsedmonton.ca or the CTV channel on YouTube. See ya.